You are listening to Inspiring Table Talks with Kalpita and Vidya. Today, we're really excited to have our very first male guest to bring his perspective on a lot of issues that are current, and he is none other than Riaan Beeslaar, the author of Firefly and owner of Blue Monkey magazine. Welcome, Riaan.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me. This is a huge honor to be part of your podcast.
Thank you. We are very, very honored to have you.
Yes, thanks, Riaan, for being on our podcast. Can you tell us more about how you got into motivational speaking?
I think one of mankind's deepest desires is to be understood, to have someone we can relate to, someone who has experienced what we're busy experiencing right now. Think about it. Would you really take swimming lessons from a person who can't swim? My motivational speaking doesn't revolve around business success or success concerning health and fitness. Those two fields I have yet to discover. I am far from being successful in business, and if you see me in real life, you'll understand why I say I don't do motivational speaking concerning a healthy lifestyle. I discuss and share my opinion on things and hardship. And the reason I got into motivational speaking is to basically provide a platform for people going through things like hardship, struggles with life, depression, suicidal thoughts. Those type of things is what I focus on. I want to have people, to provide a platform for people to relate, because I myself went through all of those stuff. You can say I speak about health, but mental health is the correct term. The thing is, as I said, I experienced cheating in a relationship before. I went through suicide. I battled depression, or I'm still battling depression. So the thing is, the things I discuss is things that I've been through personally. So the people who listen to my videos and follow my advice, they know that I myself has walked that path that they're busy walking right now. The message I broadcast is basically just my opinion and advice that I share with people going through the same thing I went through. They have to say over how they interpret my message. That's basically it. I just try to guide people through troublesome matters that I myself went through.
You know, Riaan, I think it's so important that you speak about the authenticity that you bring, because today, self-help, motivational speaking, these things have become so commercialized. To some extent, people are losing that authenticity. It's like your journey has been almost like a roller coaster, and at times emotionally and physically turbulent. But your relationship with women was primarily shaped by your mom. And I stand to be corrected, but your journey with your mom. So can you share a little bit of that journey with us and how that journey has shaped your relationship with other females, whether it's your friends, your sisters, or your romantic partner? How has that journey as a whole shaped your relationship with women?
To be honest, I think my entire relationship with women is based on one thing: respect. Because I have had the opportunity to meet phenomenal and influential women during my 28 years on this planet, and I've met women who've given me a reason to respect them. My mother, as you mentioned, is a single mother, yet she has given me more love and security than anyone could ask for. I can honestly say that my mother has given me a better childhood than a lot of kids who has two parents could have ever wished for. That's the foundation towards my respect for women. My mother doing the impossible to make everything possible for me. I think all the influential women I've ever met has taught me one or two things. Just to name a few. My grandmother as example. The sweetest, kindest, and most selfless person on this earth is still busy teaching me what it means to be a truly generous person. Another close friend of mine, and she was a previous guest on your podcast, Rissa van Niekerk, has taught me what the word ambition means. I respect her so very much. She showed me that you can do anything you put your heart towards. And at the same time, be a phenomenal mother to her kids and wife to her husband. Risa's literally doing everything she wants to and manages to make it work. I look up to her. She's one of my role models, and she's a lady. I genuinely believe no sex is superior to the other. We are all equal in a way. I have met women over my lifetime that I respect with all my heart. That's great people. That's kind, loving, and generous. And I've also met women that I have trouble respecting. But it's the same with men. I've met men that I look up to, that I gain inspiration from, and then I have men that I don't even want to sit around the table with. I've met men that, how can I say, that are truly awful people. I can list hundreds of women who outwork, outlove, and outshine hundreds of men I know. My relationship with women is built upon purely respect, as I know firsthand what great things they can achieve. Because I don't think your sex makes you superior. I literally think what defines you as a person is what's inside of you.
If you could recall one particular story of your mom's, and the reason I ask this is because your mom, being a single mom, most probably faced many hurdles along her journey as her own individual self, as well as parenting you, right?
Yes.
But what is that one particular scenario, situation, or memory you have of her that really stands out even today?
It's a while I was still a young boy. We live in a small town, about an hour's drive from Johannesburg. It's a very small town, and my mom back then did everything to provide for me. I basically didn't have time. I didn't see her that much because she got up when it was still dark, and she traveled to the big city to work, and she came back home late when I was asleep. So for a while I didn't really have the opportunity to get to know my mother or spend time with her, because she was literally busting everything she has just to provide for me. She went out of her way just to be a great mom, and that time in my life that stuck with me. The sacrifices she made. She had no free time just to make sure she could provide and get an income to support me.
And I think that determination is something you also carry forward in your life, because obviously she's had to put a lot. She's had to say a no to a lot and a yes to what was extremely important, which is so great that you bring that in the work you do, and you also honor that sacrifice and that hard work. Whenever you spread the message, it's never about the money, it's never about the flashy lifestyle. It's more about what is my journey going to be like, and what in my journey can I share with you, and what can you use in your journey irrespective of the material things, which is so awesome. I absolutely love that.
Thank you.
But being brought up by a single mom in a very unconventional family, what comes with it is a lot of rejection, which is a reality. Whether it's rejection from society or rejection from people within your closer circles, like your school growing up, or in your church community groups, things like that. What would you say to somebody who's going through that rejection? What is the best way to deal with that rejection, reframe it, and put it back into perspective?
The thing is, rejection is a difficult subject. Unfortunately, rejection is like death. We can't avoid it. No one likes rejection because it comes with the feeling of feeling worthless. When somebody rejects you, you feel like you've done something wrong. You're not good enough. However, there's one thing we should understand, and that's unfortunately the hard truth, is that not everyone you meet is going to like you. But that doesn't mean the fault is with you. You can be the kindest, most generous, loving person. You can go out of your way for people, and they will still not value you. They will still not see how worthy you truly are. But that doesn't mean the fault lies with you. That strictly means that the fault perhaps lies in something else. It doesn't even mean that they're a bad person.
Yeah.
This doesn't apply to just people. It also applies to work. You can be educated, you can be hardworking, and you will still not land that job you went to for an interview. Some people are born with 20/20 vision, yet they are still blind. So I want to make sure that everyone who's battling rejection understands that when people reject you, it doesn't mean the fault's with you. You must just always see your own worth. Never let someone else's opinion or never let someone else determine your own value. Because if you let somebody else determine your own value, then you open your door for rejection.
Yeah, that's very true. And so often we have a tendency to be so emotionally charged by words, especially if it's by people who are much closer to us or people whose opinions we do actually value. Sometimes we have to realize that there might be a difference in opinion. And like you say, we shouldn't label that rejection as they being bad or we being bad. It's just what is for them in that moment true. So your book, A Bit About Firefly, it's basically about a young gentleman who experiences these thoughts of suicide, who's been cheated on, and then he meets this angel, Elijah, who guides him through. But
Yes.
when it comes to writing the book and sharing your story so authentically, how do you get into that creative space? How do you detach yourself? Because it's obviously part of your story and who you are and what your battles have been. But how do you detach yourself emotionally and write so creatively?
That's the thing. My book is young adult fiction. However, it's based on my own life. So people who personally know me can relate to who has never met me. When they read my book, they read the fiction part. But let's say my cousin or a close friend reads my book, then they'll immediately know that this character resembles this person in my life. I think that's how I emotionally detached myself from writing the book, by hiding behind a world of fiction. It allows me to play around and not directly point fingers to certain people. Let's say in my book there's this character Mary Jane who resembles a person who has hurt me badly in my life. Yet I don't want to name and shame her, so I rather use a fictional character. And the thing is, if I write my book like it is real life, then it doesn't give people the opportunity to relate to. But using fictional characters, people can relate. We all have a Mary Jane in our life, somebody who has our first love who really broke our hearts. So I decided to write my book fiction. However, it's based on my life, it's still fiction, because it gives readers the opportunity to paint their own picture, to relate, to put in their own characters.
And that's so awesome, because it also, you can go back to your own book and read it a few times to remind you of how far you've come.
Yes, especially concerning writing. Like when I read my own book, I can really see how my writing has grown, and that's just a accomplishment that I'm really proud of.
That's great. That's really awesome. But obviously with COVID and things like that, it's been difficult for your book to get out there, and for people to get it. I'm sure it will be available at a later stage, right, for people to buy from the shelves?
Yes, it will. Unfortunately, also another factor is the publishing house closed down as a result of the current situation in this country. So I'm busy organizing republishing. So my book will once again be available within the near future. So people should just keep an eye on my social media for the announcement. But yeah, Firefly will be available
Yeah.
soon again.
This angel that you write in the book about Elijah, do you want to elaborate a bit about Elijah, and also a little bit more about the real experience, not just the one that you've written? In that moment, what did you feel? What did you see? Because it was a crucial moment when you took a decision to try and end your own life.
I absolutely love this question because this is the biggest part of my book. This is where my book turned. I never planned to introduce or to create a character Elijah, but I was busy writing my book when I was first properly introduced to God by joining a home cell group. That's where I really started. My book literally took a turn there because, as I said, my book was based on what I was going through with life at that stage. So when I started joining home cell and I started to get to know God on a personal level and see how influential He can be in my everyday life, that's when I came up with the character Elijah, the angel Elijah, because in this book, Elijah is a godly figure and he guides Timothy, the main character of the book. And in my own life was the exact moment I met God and I had that guidance, because I always felt lost. I always felt confused, like I was running around in any direction, not getting to any location I want to go. And then I got introduced to God, and then I finally had that ultimate guidance, that figure in my life that when I feel lost, that tells me, Riaan, stop stressing, everything's going to be okay. Because that's what I love about God. He always tells me in my difficult situations that, why are you stressing? Everything will be okay. And that's why I started to introduce Elijah into the book. So as you can see, my book took a turn. It wasn't spiritually at all. And then with the introduction of Elijah, it went to a completely different direction.
Mm-hmm. And also, I think what is so I don't know, perhaps you can tell us more, but the importance of having an anchor, because when things are going in an almost downward spiral, it's so easy for us to get caught up, right? And that leads to drastic steps. But having an anchor is so very important. For some people, it might be spiritual. For others, it might be just something that's more material or an object. But in your life, that anchor has now become the Word of God. What would you say about the importance of having an anchor? Like, do you ever wish you had this anchor earlier in life? Or would you like to share about having an anchor?
I honestly would say I would love to have had an anchor previously in my life. It would have helped me face difficult situations and make much better choices. I don't regret the choices I've made because they have helped me they have shaped me into this person I am today. But I wish I had an anchor previously in my life. But everything happens for a reason, so there's probably a reason that I only met God when I met Him in my life. But having an anchor is crucial. I can't imagine how people can go through everyday life without an anchor. Because like I said, or like you said, the Word of God's my anchor. If you don't have an anchor, what do you do when things become dark? Because having an anchor is connected to hope. It's that reassurance that everything will be okay. If you believe in nothing or no one, what do you do when you become stressed? What do you do when life becomes difficult? Where do you get your hope from? Because you can't get through life without hope. You can't get through life without the expectation that things will get better. And that is my anchor. God's my anchor. Because when things become difficult, I pray and I talk to Him, and He provides me with reassurance that everything will get better. And that is what keeps me going. An anchor keeps you stable. It keeps you from, how can I say it? An anchor keeps you stable in life. It keeps your boat from rocking. It keeps your boat from capsizing. everyone should have an anchor. It doesn't have to be religion or spiritually, but everyone has to have an anchor to provide stability and to reassure them that everything will be okay. Because we all need hope in life.
I think you couldn't have said it better than just telling us, the importance of having an anchor. But I think what's been so great is through everything, you've even started your own online magazine, which is really cool.
Yes.
How was Blue Monkey magazine conceived? What was the intention?
Let me dive into the beginning. Okay, so I've always had an extraordinary imagination. Storytelling, writing short stories, long stories, even my book Firefly. I have a passion for writing. I love writing, but making a living out of writing stories and books, it seems so impossible in this country. I had no idea I'm going to make a living writing stories and books. So I had to change my plan. I continued writing. However, I just went a different path. I started writing content and copy writing. I started writing articles, news articles, blog posts. I wrote for other magazines, online magazines, print magazines. I just had to use my skill set and my passion, but in a different way, to make an income. By writing for various publications and platforms, I was able to generate an income and gain experience. The first article I wrote was about why little dogs are so aggressive, and I was paid 50 Rand for that article. But it's the first time I was paid for doing what I love, for writing, and it was one of the best days of my life. It was about 4 years back that I started my own publication, Blue Monkey, and over the course it has grown into both an online and printed publication. Writing for other publications, it has taught me and how the industry works, and 4 years ago I felt comfortable enough and decided that it's time to do it my way. So I started Blue Monkey magazine, and it has grown into a printed magazine and into a thriving online magazine.
Sometimes we don't believe that we can get paid to do what we love, but it's coming out of your own comfort zone as well and pushing through that. What was the most uncomfortable thing you had to do in order for this to become a reality? Or what was like that one comfort zone you've had to break out of?
Going for basically 2-3 years going without still making income, because that's what everyone wants to start their own business. But what's the difference between starting a business and watching your business grow? It's giving up.
Yeah.
Everyone has potential to start something and to make a success out of it. With the magazine, I can't even tell you how long it took me to start making income. Because the thing is with the magazine is you have to be well known. No one's going to read something that they've never seen before, that they have no idea that exists. So my biggest obstacle was genuinely pushing through while not making money. Continue putting in all my effort into a project that shows no reward at all. I was lucky enough to finally to achieve that level where my magazine starts generating income. Biggest obstacle I encountered was just pushing through. Like, the thing is, everyone starts their own business, but if it doesn't make money the next day, then they give up. My magazine was started 4 years ago, and it was only, let's say, beginning of last year when it started generating income, and not even a lot, but it was starting generating income. So even if your business doesn't make money, you should still see if it provides growth. My magazine didn't make money, but it showed signs of growth. So I just pushed through, and I think eventually I got to the point where, hey, this works. I can make a full-time career out of doing what I'm doing. So I think that was my biggest obstacle, just pushing through, giving my 100% even when I'm not making a single rand.
Yeah, I think it's always important to stay consistent because often we have to weigh between our passion and if we're making money, like you said. And it can be challenging, but to keep persisting and pushing is important.
And people often need to define what that growth is. What is your message to men who have women in their lives who are undergoing important transitions? What would you say is the best way for them to support her, to be there for her? And what can men do in general to improve the quality of life and experiences women have in society?
I would honestly say, see your wife or your girlfriend, or see the female in your life, the women in your life, as equals. Don't ever think of them as less of a person as you. See them as equals. If your wife's busy undergoing perhaps a transition to a new work or planning to go for an interview, encourage them. See them. Put yourself in their shoes. If you're busy going for an interview or doing something big in your life, starting a new business or whatever, if you're busy with a project, you want people to encourage you. You want people to support you, to believe in you. So do those exact same things to your wife. Encourage her, support her, love her, no matter what she decides to do. If she wants to drastically change her career, reason with her, talk with her, and believe in her. The thing is, you should always see a person as equal, even if it's not a lady, even if it's your brother, even if it's the same gender, another man. See people as equals and put yourself in their shoes before you say anything, before you react. Think, if I was in their shoes and somebody talk bad about my dream, would I be upset? Don't talk bad about their dream. Do to others what you want to be done to you. It's the most cliche saying, but it's the most honest one that actually is the truth.
Treat each other with respect, and you'll get the same back. So Riaan, we just wanted to ask you, what are some of the rituals or activities that are keeping you positive during this COVID period?
COVID-19 is one thing. It's terrible, but it's at the same time, it's the ultimate proof that our entire existence can change in a blink of an eye. However, COVID-19 is giving us an opportunity. It's giving us the opportunity to focus on growth. Recently, in one of my videos, I spoke about how life will happen to you. No matter what you do, life will happen to you. Certain things will come on your path that you have no say about. But we can decide how we react to what happens. No one had say about COVID-19 occurring, but we can decide how we live with it. I personally feel that during this time is a perfect chance for everyone to start new projects, to focus on personal growth, to discover new ways of generating side income. You can sit and feel sorry for yourself and the situation you're in, or you can learn a new skill, start an online business, or work on chasing your dream. That is how I'm keeping myself busy during COVID-19, by focusing on my goals. I'm also busy identifying weaknesses in my life. As an example, let me give you an example. If you lost your entire income due to COVID-19 as a result of what's happening in this country, then you immediately know that you need to create a backup source for income. COVID-19 has given me personally the opportunity to identify my current weaknesses in life, as well as giving me the opportunity to focus on new projects.
Yeah, and I think during this period, lots of people are taking time for themselves as well, and taking up their passion and their hobbies, which I don't think most people had time to do before this pandemic. So it's also in that way a positive thing. And Riaan, can you tell us more about your future plans? Anything exciting you're working on?
I'm working on a ton of goals. I have a vision board here. I'm busy staring at my vision board, and there are huge things on there. Things that will intimidate people, that will make them think I'm crazy. But that's the thing. I have big dreams because I know how big my God is. I can dream big because my God can do big things. But yes, considering my future plans, I can't wait for things to go back to normal in South Africa. I'm so hungry and excited to start speaking at events and functions. I want to take my motivational speaking career to the next level. Concerning the magazine, I'm busy working on a web series where I'll be conducting video interviews on a professional basis. So having sit-downs, having a presenter interview celebrities, well-known people. I really want to do this whole video interview thing with Blue Monkey. And I'm also currently busy writing my next book. The title is still up for discussion as I only started recently. But the book is basically look into my life and me living with and coping with depression. That's my plans, my future.
So Riaan, we'd just like to thank you for being on our podcast and sharing with us so much on a personal level. It was really great to get a male perspective on things. And can you please share with our listeners your contact details and your social media links?
Perfect. First, I want to say thank you for this opportunity. To be the first male guest in your podcast is an honor. You have no idea how much this means to me. When you guys invited me, It was a highlight of my life. And people can find me on two ways. If they're interested in me as a motivational speaker, they can Facebook, Instagram or Twitter search me at Riaan AG Beeslaar or AG Beeslaar. By typing that into Facebook on other social media platforms, you'll find me. And if you're interested in browsing and reading on Blue Monkey magazine, you can do the same. You can go to bluemonkeymag.co.za, or you can just search for Blue Monkey magazine on either Facebook, Twitter or Instagram, and you can be introduced to a new online entertainment platform.
Perfect. We will share those on our Instagram page and Anchor platforms as well. And before we let you go, just your closing words and your closing message to all the single moms out there who are experiencing whatever it is that they are currently. What would you like to say to them? What would your message to them be as somebody who's been raised by a single mom?
It's hard. I myself am a single parent. It's hard. It really is difficult. I'm not going to lie. Luckily, I have friends and family helping me raise my beautiful baby boy, August. So if I can just say one thing to all the single moms out there, you're not alone. Ask for help. I was scared in the beginning to ask for help because I felt shame to ask people to help me raise my boy. But there's so much love left in this world. We should stop trying to do everything ourselves. Stop trying to hide our weakness. We should ask for help. I'll tell you what a friend once told me, and this message goes to all the single moms out there thinking they're not a good mother. My friend once told me, if your child is happy, fed and healthy, then never ever contemplate if you're a good parent or not. Provide your children with love and safety, and I promise you're doing this parenting thing all right.
Thank you for listening to Inspiring Table Talks.
And remember to favorite Inspiring Table Talks on Anchor, as well as to follow us on Instagram at inspiring.tabletalks.
And if you would like to be a guest on the podcast, you can email us at contactkpv108@gmail.com.